When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right?
Okay.
And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like,
Okay.
there's multiple people headlights off,
Okay,
first of
that's
all,
still a
and then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
33 at 15.1 hours.
I'm here. What is your reason, sir?
Step out.
What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right.
Get on the ground.
Don't.
Get on the ground.
Stop fighting.
Put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm resisting.
Hands behind your back.
What's wrong with you?
I was putting my hands behind my back.
Stop.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
fucking stupid shit, bro. I was doing it, bro. What's going on, man?
You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No, bro.
Yes, bro.
You
Yes.
have a lawful reason,
Big
bro.
knife center right here too.
You gonna come and go like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro.
That's not how it works.
Too late.
It ain't no too late.
When they asked you to step out of the vehicle, you should have done that shit.
Sir, your partner didn't even ask.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is.
So why close the door if you see him pull up?
Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
Well,
wrong.
resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong, sir. Can you back me up to the car so I can lean up?
Shut up.
When he pulled.
Police officer breaks unarmed man's window, punches him, and slams him on his face after pulling him over. A call HALAL YAHAWAH BAHASHAM BAHASHAM QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles, the great millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful scattered abroad. Shalom, 244,000. And as you see this Jake right here, man, all right, he's finding out the hard way, okay? And this is why the Bible is so important. The scriptures are so important because it gives us a way of life, a way to live, a way to survive behind enemy lines in the land of our captivity. But if you don't follow that, okay, as it says in Hosea 4 and 6, okay, you have rejected this knowledge, you're going to find yourself in these situations, man. All right, you know, you've seen the long hair, the long dress, niggas obviously lost. That's not our custom, okay? But then he said how he had weed in his pocket, okay? And really they probably told him to get out of the car because they probably already smelled the weed. And really, bro, you probably just got a ticket, man. All right, but Jake just so combative and rebellious that they'll sit here and try to argue and fuss and fight with the cops who already have the authority. And next thing you know, you're getting your ass beat. You're lucky you didn't get shot, okay? And you seen the anger, you know, the demonic spirits on that cop when he went to whooping his ass. But really, when you think about it, through the Spirit, the Lord put the Spirit on that cop to do that. The Lord put the Spirit on this cop to do him like this. You see how he getting, you know.
Here.
Hold on.
What is your reason?
When he broke the window,
Show me your hands.
Here.
when he broke the window, he
Supervisor?
punched him.
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Call your supervisor. And this is what Jake always do. They think that they have rights here. You got to understand, in this man's courtroom, his laws, you're 3/5 of a man. This is what they don't tell you, but you're 3/5 of a man. This is why every time something happens, they get away. Okay? I just experienced this the other day with a situation that happened, man. It's like, damn, bro, like, no matter what happens, you're in the right, the other person's in the wrong. We don't get a fucking a fair shake here at all. Okay? And that's the way it's set up. Okay? You can forget about it. Every time you do something, oh, they gonna what, how they say it? They're gonna persecute you to the full extent of the law. Somebody else do something wrong and you expected the same thing, nothing. Slap on the wrist, done. They're good to go, and you stuck with all the fucking hell and turmoil. But this is what happens when we're in the land of our captivity, and you got to understand that. I remember dealing with Jake, you know, when I came into this truth. Oh, but the white people can do it. Oh, but the white people, nigga, you ain't white, okay? None of us is white. Nobody's white, but you ain't an Edomite. All right, this is their kingdom, and it's important to understand this. So let's go over here real quick. I'm going to show you this because, you know, Jake would do this where they'll record and think that it's all cute and Look at this article that came out yesterday. It says deputies who punched black driver in viral video broke no laws. So yeah, you thought you was gonna record and get a lawsuit and this, that, and the third. No, all you did is add more charges. Got a concussion, all right, and whatever else. So you see right here, they pulling his hair. That's why you ain't supposed to have that long hair either. They gonna pull that shit, punch you in your face, stomp you out, whatever. All right, you can't be surprised when these things happen either, man. Let's go right here though. It says, black student dragged from his car and punched by Florida officer says he was scared and confused. And you remember that old commercial, don't be looking scared and confused after a car accident. Well, Jake was talking about he was scared and confused. Well, you wouldn't have been scared and confused if you had came back to your power. All right, you see he got that long ass hair tied up. Jake just not following the ways of YAHAWASHI. And hey, as things get worse, as we get closer to Jacob's trouble, you're going to see men like this, our people like this, that scared and confused, don't know what's going on, lost with no sauce, gonna find themselves dead, man. You're gonna find yourselves in a bad situation. Okay, so let's grab a few precepts. All right, I just want to point that out real quick. And they had another cop. Let me see if it's in here. They had a cop, I guess. They had one of their deputies, I guess, speaking about it, and it happened to be a so-called black cop. And he was saying how this is being used to put a bad light on police officers. I mean, you could say that, but at the same time, the way the aggression those cops had, because you could say they was frustrated. They didn't have to do all that, but they did because ultimately the Lord set it up. And this is why you Jakes need to realize that you're not going to get a equal opportunity here in America. Okay, that was null and void when you came over here on a slave ship. So let's grab a few precepts, man, because the Bible tells us about this, man. It says, Romans chapter 13, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. So you got to be subject unto these higher powers. The Lord set them up. It says, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. So these police officers, these judges, whatever you want to call them, however you have it, they're in power. And the Most High set up where they're going to be in power over us. It says, moreover, whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High. So when you find yourself resisting, when they saying stop resisting, as they punching you in the back of the head, you are resisting the ordinance of the Most High. It says, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Okay, and this is why Jake get beat up, punched on, concussions, shot at, locked up. Okay, because now you just added all type of other charges to whatever you originally got pulled over for. Okay, and this happened many times with me where a cop pulled me over. It'd be some bullshit. Hey, how you doing, officer? You talk to them a certain way. You understanding these precepts, and then they'll let you go. It's been times where I got pulled over for speeding or something, and they'll let me go. No ticket, no nothing. Okay, because it's about how, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Okay, and there's no reason why any of us should be arguing and fussing and fighting with these cops, man. The best thing you can do is just submit, as the scriptures say. Okay, so it says, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. And Jake be doing evil. They don't realize it. Having that long ass hair, them dreads, that's evil in the eyes of the Most High, because that's not our customs. Okay, having a pocket full of weed, that's evil. Okay, it says, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. And this did happen plenty of times to us, where these cops, they'll get called on us, and they'll turn around and go for the person who called on us. Plenty of times this has happened, man. I've experienced this on several occasions. Okay, a motherfucker try to call the cops on you to get you shot or killed or arrested, and the cops will turn on them, start looking for them. Okay, so the Lord, the scripture says also that when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with you. Okay. So when you're doing what's right in the eyes of YAHAWASHI to the best of your ability, the Lord is going to alleviate you from this type of stuff. But when you're not, you can expect this. Okay, it says, for he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good, but if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. Yeah, if you're doing wickedness, be afraid. You should be scared. It says, for he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Wherefore ye needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake, right? So you got to be in subjection, not only for the wrath that's coming, but for your own, conscience sake. In the NLT, it says, everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from the Most High, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by the Most High. So anyone who rebels against authority is rebelling against what the Most High has instituted, and they will be punished, right? So this is why Jake get punished, because you're bucking up against the ways YAHAWASHI set up, and that's the problem with our people altogether, because they're rebellious and stiff-necked people. They think that they're the cop. They think that they're the judge. You telling the cop to pull up that law? What? He finna pull up a baton and beat your ass, okay? And these messages that we're telling you from the scriptures are very important because it can save your life. It says, for the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. And hey, I remember prior to coming into this truth, bro, I used to get a huge sense of fear and anxiety when a cop came around. I could have been not doing nothing wrong, but when a cop came around, I felt, because my past, seeing my father, my uncles get arrested and get police brutalized and shit in front of me, it put a certain spirit of anxiety on me amongst these police officers. But now that I came into the truth, that has no power over me. I don't get an ounce of fear being around a police officer. Even when the police officers may be called on me. It's been times where they came to the camp, we don't get afraid. Because why? It says, for authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong, who would like to live without fear of the authorities. It's like, would you like to live without fear of the authorities? Question mark. Do what is right, and they will honor you. Right. So we do what's right, and we don't live with fear of the authorities. It says the authorities are the Most High servants sent for your good. But if you are doing wrong, of course you should be afraid, for they have the power to punish you. And this is why when they pulled him over and pulled him out there and beat his ass, they started justifying it. Oh, weed in his right pocket. They'll say, oh, he had a gun. I fear for my life. That's all it takes. It says, so you must submit to them, not only to avoid punishment, but also to keep a clear conscience, right? You don't want to be driving and the cops get behind you and you start shaking and, hyperventilating and stuff, man. And that happens, okay? Because why? We are in, the land of our oppressors, and you know that they have the power to kill you. All right, these are cops. They got the power to kill you, man. All right, and get away with it, okay? And get away with it. So, hey, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, repent. All right, do what's right in the eyes of YAHAWASHI so you can be, delivered from the hand of your enemies. This is what we desperately need. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 25. It says, agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou shalt be cast into prison. And this is what happens when you get arrested. Even if you do get out or you make bond, there's still a court case going on. Okay, and at the end of that court case, the judge can say, okay, yeah, we're gonna give you a year in jail, or 6 months, or whatever, or you might get 5 years in prison. Okay. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt be by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. And it happened to me when I was 18. I caught a case for doing some stupid shit, bro, and I was paying that shit off. I literally had to pay back everything that I had to pay for everything I did wrong, and then some. Okay, so it didn't pay off in the end to be doing wrong. All right, because then what happened? You got probation. You end up getting which probation is nothing but money. You get all that they start making you pay all this money. All right. Shalom, bro. I'm in the middle of a lesson. But it says, in the NLT, it says, when you are on the way to court with your adversary, settle your differences quickly. Otherwise, your accuser may hand you over to the judge, who will hand you over to an officer, and you will be thrown into prison. And if that happens, you surely won't be free until you have paid the last penny. Let me see what else I got right here. I got one more sword in vain. Okay, let me see, because Jake forget this too, man. Okay, Romans chapter 13. Oh, I already read this, Salaki. I already read this, but let me grab this in the NLT though. No, I already read it in the NLT. That's all the spirit. Okay, so yeah, they got them weapons, them guns on their hips for a reason. They can use them. They got the power to kill. Okay, you don't want to get caught up in this man's judgment. Okay, in his wrath. And that's what happens to a lot of our people because they're not following the ways and the laws and the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Let's go to Hosea real quick. And slack you for the noise. This is gonna be a quick lesson. I do these quick lessons, man, because it ain't gotta take, it ain't gotta be a 2-hour video. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I can get, 4-5 videos in the time of 2 hours. So just for edification, let's go right here. It says Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. What's the knowledge you are lacking? Of the scriptures. This big book that we reading out of, man. This is the knowledge that you're lacking. It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, and that's the problem too. A lot of our people, they rejected this knowledge. They think that they don't need the Lord. They think that they can be bad all by themselves. This sounds foolish to a nigga. And then they find themselves in that situation and they don't understand why it's happening to them. It says, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. Right? So our people are going through the same trials and tribulations because they have rejected Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and his knowledge. They rejected the right way and want to go the wrong way, and in doing so, you find yourself in all this trouble. You find yourself in all this turmoil, all this hell and chaos. All right, Jake find themselves in prison, okay, for a year because you didn't obey the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that was coming from his prophets, man. Okay, everybody think that they got a better way, but really there's only one way. And that's the way and the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. So I praise us for edifying to the full double honor to our teachers, the elders, and apostles that know who taught us the truth and truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the whole full God of God. Shalom. Let this be a lesson. Learn from his mistake.